Hello, this is Pigsy doing another video. A couple of things to talk about. Now, the first thing is it's a bit of a mystery, but it's more of a human mystery, and that is that I've got a client, let's call her June, and June, at first she does suffer from a form of dementia in there. It just really impacts her short-term memory, and so she's saying, well, I can't find any knickers. You think, oh, okay, how many knickers? So you look around the property. She doesn't just live on her own. She lives, her son's there, but he doesn't really do much direct support for her, because you can see he's got disease. Well, she's got care staff that come in. Why should I bother, sort of thing? A little bit of that, or he just does what he considers fine. Free cars out. Went for it. Anyway, so yeah, he does sort of he does a minimum amount. He does what he considers his job's there. And yesterday she's saying, well, I've got any 90s. And I think 90s, you've got any 90s? Because the knickers, I sort of thought, well, maybe you're just throwing them away or doing something, you know. It's not the end of the world, because you wear sort of sanitary pads, and you know, but acts like a pair of pants, basically, nappy. So it's not the end of the world. But however, a 90s disappearing is a bit weird. And I sort of thought of all the logical things. So something thrown away. They're not in any of her dry clothes. They've been dried. There was some stuff in that needs to go into the wash, which I didn't bother to put in there. It was basically a bed cooler was there before. And so the only other thing as well is that there is another male carer. Now this kind of touches upon MGTOW, is that men are often seen as predators in society because they have the capacity to, and to be honest, they can be, because they like to get what they want, and they might use other means in order to obtain it. They're not going to, maybe, you know, not going to engage in some social engagement and like ask for it. They might actually take it if they see it just, you know, laying around or whatever. The only thing is, I thought, well, am I just sort of condemning him? Am I doing what society would do anyway? And is to basically come up with the assumption that maybe he's taken these items, and if so, that means he's not that well. If that's true, because it means it's like some fetish, and you can have a fetish. Anyone can have a fetish, right? But if it's contained, it's fine. But if it ends up going outside into the public domain, then it becomes a bit risky, not unless it's something organised. But yeah, I mean, if he's taking 90s and knickers, it means he's obviously got some other things going on in his mind, and what is he doing with these items? But I think that's probably the worst way to condemn someone, is assume because of their gender that they are a type of particular criminal or something. Yeah, so for me in this situation, the only thing I could do was to chat to her for a bit and then pass the message on to management, so they can at least look into it a bit more of probable cause. I mean, it could be that the son wants his mother to look like she's not coping so well, and then try to get her into a home so he can have a house for himself. I mean, but that would be more another extreme thing, but yeah, again, a predator thing. It could be that a carer's not understanding what she's saying. Rather than putting it into a laundry bin, they're shoving it into an actual bin. But that would be pretty crazy. I mean, there are some people that are quite dark sometimes. I mean, I don't want to put labels on people, but experience that somebody was sort of, but she wasn't native. Her English she wasn't native English. I mean, I didn't pick up anything about her that told me she was in some way quite different or she didn't understand what's going on. But there's always that element there as well. So it's just a weird mystery. I mean, what on earth could have happened to this woman? But then the other issue is with trauma and dementia, is that she'll keep repeating that cycle. Like, do you know, where are they? Where are they? And you'll tell her and talk about what you don't know where they are. And then she will ask the same question again 5 minutes later. So that's the sad thing, is that I've taken her to go to bed, and she likely might get caught in a cycle and ends up looking around the house for nighties and knickers. So I mean, you know, if a woman had an issue with her, certainly by hiding it, they've cruelly punished her, because she's stuck in a cycle of not just saying, well, forget about it, I'll look in the morning. She might potentially go up and look around for it, forget what she's looking for, then remember what she's looking for, and you just keep on going cycle. And it just wear a person out. It's a bit like when we lose an item, we believe we know it's got to be my property, it's got to be mine, you know. And so we look around, but what we decide usually to do is, like, we'll take one room at a time, check everything, and then we move on to the next room, and that's kind of a clearance strategy. But somebody who's got dementia, if they start in one room, forget what they're doing, go off and do something else, then remember they should be looking for something, they might restart the whole pattern over and over again. Or they might try to do it by the only way to alter the environment. So, like, you get a stack of things together to try to make it easier to remember, and that's where people become OCB. It's obsessive compulsive behaviour. It's not necessarily a disorder. It's like a magazine pile, and decide to start date sorting it, or do I still need this? This one's old. Stuff like that. Worst thing is when someone looks through like a stack and then they decide to, hey, halfway through they stop and think, oh well, actually I might still want them. You put them back on the side, and then that pattern will repeat again. So yeah. Anything else? What have I noticed in the crypto world? I mean, there are companies developing. They're doing something called like bridging. And so that one platform can mix with another, and they get very confusing to explain crypto to people, but they are kind of, I mean, I see them as a kind of related to company shares, but in a currency form, and you could be added programs and all sorts to it. But what's probably going to happen, so I mean, they've got certain amounts of functionality within these, like almost like programs, the blockchain. I guess it would like DNA, it can hold other information and functions within it. So it's like digital DNA, but it's also registered and regulated to the companies to some degree. I mean, the less centralised it is, the better. But if something has the capacity to combine through bridging like chains and connect to other platforms and be able to convert between these different encoded blockchains, eventually it's going to happen that you're going to get more, it's going to be like an amalgamation, and then you're just going to have, you know, the best of certain products combined in, and then it comes back to utility. So memes might be fun why people want to collect them, but there's going to be a point where, apart from having a acute association with it, you know, you could create, there probably will be, they've got NFTs, they're likely to create a load of them for like things like Pokemon, you know, football teams, whatever, and then they'll be associated with a currency that relates to certain money, I guess. But the other issue as well, is each of these different companies could launch their own NFT. So you could have Cardano could do like Liverpool NFT, and Ethereum could do, you know, it could be, I've got the Ethereum collection, and stuff like that, which I guess is cool. But it's a different type of wealth. It's a wealth of ownership rather than wealth of a kind of financial liquidity. There'll be loads of vans now. Actually, I'll be out in about an hour. There we go. Anyways, this big sun off everyone. That's what to do, mate.